Hey friends, Brian Smith here. This is the 45th, maybe, digital chapel that we've put out so far on the Ao1 Life app. So hopefully you are getting a chance to tune in every week and just hear a little bit of truth that applies to you and your context within sports. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect a biblical truth to where you're at today in today's culture, with also being an athlete. So hopefully you have found these helpful. I want to say right off the bat today, we have something really exciting coming down the pipeline with Ultimate Training Camp. So probably in the next 2 weeks or so, we'll begin to make some announcements about some exciting new things that are happening. But we've been really busy behind the scenes putting some things together and really excited for what we're going to be able to offer all of you this coming fall, regardless of whether or not sports actually exist or we're able to be in a physical location. We have something really cool coming down the pipeline that I'm excited to share, that we're excited to share with all of you. So let's get to the digital chapel. I think this will be a pretty quick one this week. I have been doing a lot of construction stuff since we have been home during COVID. We've been kind of quarantined, locked into our place here in Michigan. And so that means we've had a lot of opportunity to work on our house. And one thing I've learned a lot of things, but the key thing that I've learned in any construction project, especially if you're starting from the ground up, that is you're framing walls, as you're building things with 2x4s, nobody, like, it doesn't actually say when you buy the wood that you're supposed to do this, but it's just kind of like this unwritten rule that everybody in construction knows about. And that's when you're spacing your walls, you space them 16 inches apart. So you're building your wall up. So even like these walls behind me, those were all built with 2x4 studs spaced 16 inches on center apart. And so why do you do this? And this is something that was amazing to me the more that I thought about it, is because one, like, that's apparently just what good structure is. Like, it needs to be spaced out that much so it can hold the weight around it. But more than that is that everything else involved in the construction project relies on this assumption that you're going to frame your wall with the studs being 16 inches on center. And so the floorboard underneath, my office is very, very messy because my kids come in here. The sheathing on the floorboard underneath is built with the assumption that your nailing pattern is going to be 16 inches on center. So when you put that sheathing down, you don't have to guess where your line is for the wood that you're nailing into. That it's 16 inches on center. When you're putting drywall in, the assumption, the drywall is made with this assumption that your walls are going to be built 16 inches apart. The plywood you put on the outside of here, like every part of the construction process relies on this assumption that your walls are going to be a certain width apart. And if they're not, it doesn't mean like you can't put drywall up or you can't put a subfloor down or a ceiling. Like, you can still do that stuff, but it is going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be much harder of a process. Trust me, I know I have made the mistake multiple times, because everything you buy for this project is built, it's kind of created with this assumption that you've already built these walls 16 inches on center. So really all you need to do is set it against these walls, nail it in. You don't need to do any extra cuts or anything, and you're good to go. And when you don't do that, things get more difficult. And so what does this mean for us as coaches or athletes, especially at the intersection of our faith and our sport? And I think it's this. I think the similar analogy is found in Mark 12, verses 30 and 31. And these people are coming up to Jesus, and they're like, Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? You gave us 10 commandments. What would you say out of those is the greatest one? And Jesus, in a way that he always does, he never like directly answers the question with a this or that. He expands on it. And so he goes on to say in Mark 12, 30 and 31, that the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And so he really kind of picks two commandments and combines them into one, to love God and to love other people. Like that's our trajectory. That's the assumption for us as Christ followers within the context of sport, that we would be doing in our life. That whether we are playing or practicing our sport, or whether we are hanging out with friends, or we are studying or watching Netflix, or whatever we are doing in life, the assumption is we're loving God and we're loving people. And then after that, everything is not like everything isn't easy and rainbows and butterflies, but it becomes much easier when we live our life against the backdrop of loving God and loving other people. It doesn't mean if you're not doing those things that you can't still grow in your walk with God, that you still can't have friends, but it becomes a lot harder if your primary purpose every morning when you wake up is not, God, how am I going to pursue you today and show you that I love you? And how am I going to pursue other people and show them that I love them? And when we do that, we live in a way that God intended us to live, and we set ourselves up for the best possible position to be used effectively by Him. And I think experience the most joy as well, because that's how He created us to live, to love Him and love other people. So really quickly, what does this look like? For me, it just means the second that I wake up, I need to put my phone down, which is really hard for me. Put my phone down. I need to open up my Bible and read it and engage with God and His Word. And read it in a way that I'm not just saying, what can I pull away from this today that'll apply to my life, but read it as a way of saying, God, I want to get to know you more. I want to love you at a deeper level. So as I engage in your Word today, would you open up the eyes of my heart to see you in ways that I haven't before? Like that's the main thing I'm doing each morning when I wake up and read the Bible is, God, I want to see you in ways that I haven't before. And through that, I'm trusting that He's going to encourage me. He's going to convict me. He's going to help me see during the day where I need to better line up with where He is. And then I'm just asking Him to open up my eyes to see how I can love other people around me today. That's it. I mean, those are very practical things to do as you're waking up in the morning, spending time in the Word, but asking God that He would reveal more of Himself to you, and then just looking for ways to love other people throughout the course of the week. The same thing with building walls 16 inches on center. That's foundationally what we're supposed to do, because everything else is created with that assumption. And I think that God gave us the greatest commandment, that if we follow that, everything else will fit in along with that assumption. So you guys have a great week. I'm going to put some discussion questions within the app if you want to watch this in a group or just kind of go through them on your own. But remember to be keeping a lookout for a big announcement we have coming from the Ultimate Training Camp in the next couple weeks. I think you guys will be really excited about it. See ya.